finish up here in Summer League with Cab because, he brings something a little different. He's kind of like a blend of, and I'm not trying to, this is such an awful comparison, but I'm just trying to make it easy for everybody. He's got a little bit of Rob, and his 3-point shooting is a little bit of Al. So it's kind of like a high, not nearly as good as those two guys. Please.
I understand. I won't kill you for this. I get what you're getting at.
I could just see, be like, what are you talking about? Like, no. I'm just trying to, he does a little bit of everything, right? He's that top of the key set 3-point shots. Great shot.
Unbelievable.
He can hit that.
Unbelievable.
You got to respect his presence at the rim. He's not like a Rob level passer, not like a Williams level passer. Travion Williams? Travion Williams has got better vision than Smart does. But
oh my God.
I was very impressed with him. But Cab does a little bit of everything that as you look around the NBA and you're looking for that third big, that fourth big, he kind of checks a lot of those boxes. In your opinion, do you think he got the 2-way contract, but is that the guy you're going to feel comfortable with heading into the regular season? I'm like, yeah, that's the guy that's going to back up Rob and Al more than anybody else.
It's tough because from a skill set standpoint, absolutely, everything you said, I'm with you. That is, if we're talking think of what Daniel Theis was, right? He was an okay rim protector. He occasionally hit a 3, and he was a serviceable big, which in theory Cab should be able to do. My only concern is, as a 2-way guy, he's not eligible for the postseason. They would have to convert his 2-way contract to a real contract. So my guess is they're still going to find a proven NBA caliber big man for that depth piece. Just because I think they still need it. I think you don't want to go into your postseason with your only backup bigs being Luke Cornett and Cap. I just don't think, if you have an opportunity to not have that be the case, you should do that. But I do think he could be a guy where during the regular season, he could beat out Cornett and Camp and get, legit regular season minutes. If they want to load manage Al or they want to load manage Rob, let's just see it, because like you said, he gives you that vertical lob threat. He can, I'm trying to remember if he took a 3 from a different spot other than the top of the arc.
I don't remember
it.
Yeah.
But he shot 40% from 3 at the top of the arc on, 2 or 3 attempts a game. So in a pinch, if you need him to hit that shot, he can make it. It's just, that's why he won my heart, because I see him as a guy who could potentially get real regular season minutes, and he was a position of need and won't cost all that much. So these are the kind of diamonds in the rough where if you can find somebody and get him in your system and he does the things that their roster requires, which are just rebound, protect the rim, and catch lobs, why can't he be a legitimate piece? So I'm excited to see what he looks like against, legitimate NBA players in preseason games, because you have to imagine, if he's going up against a guy like Embiid or Giannis, he's going to get destroyed, because everybody gets destroyed. So that, to me, that doesn't say, oh, this guy sucks. It's just, can he be a third big on an NBA rotation? We haven't seen anything that suggests that he can't be. So why not?
Well, that's the thing that you brought it up, and I'm glad you went there, because that's the thing. As you look around the East, right, nobody can stop Giannis. Let's just flat out, nobody's going to be able to do that. Boston has a couple of guys that can kind of slow Giannis down a little bit. Smart, I think, did a great job on him in the playoffs. Considering I thought he was great. Grant did a great job. Al historically has done a decent job. I'm not convinced that Cab can hang up with him, but it's more with me. It's more about Embiid to me. Yeah. And I don't see Boston's roster as a roster that's built to stop Embiid. Now, as you said, nobody really can stop Embiid when he really wants to do stuff, but they just don't have that big body. And I know people love the Baines idea, and because Baines is just bigger, Baines made Dwight Howard look small. I remember, I forget who brought that up the first time that they stood next to each other. It might have been Gorman. It was he's like, man, you think, Dwight's big, then he stands next to Aaron Baines, and Baines is just way bigger than him. And this is before Dwight got super skinny. But they need a bigger body to just make it a little bit more difficult for Embiid, because you look around the rest of the East, you know, there really aren't that many awesome big guys that are on true contenders, right? Like the Nets, I mean, you can talk yourself in, I guess, the Nets being a contender if they keep it the way it is, but like the Nets don't have a big guy that you have to really worry about, right? You know, you look at the Miami Heat as a great example. Well, they have Rob, and Rob is a great matchup for Bam, as we found out in the playoffs, right? I'm not really sweating as much. You know, I don't worry at all about the Knicks, no matter what they do, whether they get Mitchell, you know, Donovan Mitchell or not. You look at the Raptors. Look at everybody around the East. Like nobody really has a true dominant big man you have to worry about, other than the Bucks with Giannis, because he's an alien, and Embiid and the Sixers, and that's the only. If you're looking to fill a spot, I'm looking for a guy that can make life hard for Embiid, and if you know, play some teams out west, some of the bigger guys out there. But other than that, you know, Cab makes a lot of sense, right? He makes a lot of sense of the way these guys play. I'm just not convinced that he can hang with a Giannis or with a Joel. Yeah, I mean, but like, if that's what we're complaining about, like, what are we complaining about?
Right. And it's one of those things where if you're in a series against an Embiid and it all comes down to how your third center performs, like a lot more went wrong than, you know, just, you know, and it's not even like Daniel Theis was a fantastic regular season player, good defender. Embiid dominated him. So it's like you can't always just say, oh, well, if you can't stop Embiid, like, why are you even on the roster? Because, like, again, the Celtics are good enough to beat the Sixers, even with Embiid averaging 40 a game. You know, that's the reality. So I'm interested to see it. I think he has a strong case to get that two-way converted if he has a strong showing. I think it you know, it's not an accident that about 15 seconds after their summer league ended, we saw the news that he had signed. So obviously they knew for a long time. But the fact that he got the two-way and not a guaranteed spot told me they're still going to look for a more proven guy. It's just, you look at the names and it's not great, you know, and I think that's what we have to understand when we're talking about this third big, whether it's Cab or whether it's a veteran minimum player, you know, that already exists in the league. Everybody is flawed. If they weren't flawed, they wouldn't still be on the market. Exactly. So it's like you could talk yourself into Dwight, for example, but he's kind of limited offensively. You could talk yourself into Boogie, but he can't guard, you know, a traffic cone. So it's like these guys that are going to fill that spot, you know, are going to have a glaring weakness. It's just where are they comfortable with that weakness being with context of the rest of their roster? Like I, for example, would be okay with someone like Dwight, who's maybe limited offensively, because I know he's going to do nothing but rebound, block shots, and foul. And that's all I want from my third big. I don't need to run offense through Dwight Howard during the course of a game. Can you catch a lob and can you have an offensive putback? So I still think they're going to get somebody. Maybe they trade for a lower salary big with, you know, a second round pick or something like that into the Wancho TPE. Who knows? But I can't imagine they're going to go into the year with just Cab and Cornet.